Well, Nigeria even returned to the Eurobond market and earned a credit rating upgrade. Now, the benefits have yet to fully reach millions of Nigerians grappling with poverty and food insecurity. Poverty has hit 63%. 27 million Nigerians faced food insecurity last year, and inflation, after falling for over a year, has crept back up to 15.4%. And then there is the question of government borrowing. Now, to help us interpret the numbers and make realistic sense of business jargons, I've got a business development executive and financial markets expert with over 17 years of experience in the financial service industry, where he currently heads and serves as head of African business at Key to Markets and Key to Prop, and is a regular commentator of business, finance, and economic issues across radio and television platforms. It's good to have you, Mr. Abiola Adekunle.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
He's also a good friend of mine.
I won't say anything about
I know you won't say anything, but it's great to have you.
It's good to be here.
I know you were you shocked when you saw me when you came into the studio?
A little.
Yeah. I like it. All right, great one. All right, so let's begin. Well, the IMF's core message is that reforms are working, but Nigerians aren't feeling it, Mr. Abiola. How do you square 4% growth with 63% poverty?
In as much as Nigeria is producing oil and is one of our major source of, in short, is our major source of revenue,
yes,
you will feel that the focus will really be there, so that constantly we are hitting our target and we can now ask for an extension. Looking at the distant second in terms of revenue generation, which is tax, I always feel somehow about tax.
Okay. Because even the IMF has insisted that, taxation
I saw it, and I just shook my head that they need to tax more, they need to widen the tax bracket.
Even if they agree that there's still poverty and, we need to be considerate of that, but they're still advising that it does that.
It's conflicting, because you cannot tax your way out of poverty. You cannot. If you want, I was doing an analysis on TV some weeks back, yes, and I said that in my house I have layers. I just keep them as pets, until the day of slaughter, and they are there eating and all that. And I said that there are two types of food that they sell feed. There's one for layers and for broilers.
Yes.
If I buy the ordinary one, which is for broilers, they eat it. They don't lay as much. But if I buy the one for layers, which is a little bit more expensive, I get eggs consistently. Now, if you do this side by side Nigerian, situation, if you want more tax, let the living condition, let the working conditions, let the opportunities, let the value of the human resource go up. Meaning that people should earn more, there should be more factories, power should be good. Eventually, the lives of people become better. Then you can tax that. For example, if the whole of Nigeria generates 1 million naira, and your tax is 10%, that means you're getting 100,000. Now, if you want to widen the tax bracket, no matter how you push it, you might not get more than 15%, which is 150,000.
Okay.
But if you now look at how do we increase the value of Nigerians, and you take that value to 10 million, 10% automatically becomes 1 million. So, for any government that really wants more money from the citizens, what you need to do is to make sure the citizens are earning more. It's just it's simple. But at the end of the day, people are not marginally better than they were 10 years ago. Meanwhile, the weight of tax, the weight of living has gone, has skyrocketed.
Are you saying the latest tax reform has not yielded anything so far?
Has it yielded for you? These are not questions that
some persons will argue that the reform has started yielding benefits. It might not be so much.
For who?
Well, it might not be so much, but actually for the payee, for those who pay every month, some of them have expressed that some of their taxes have reduced than it was before, and stuff like that. But for the informal sector, it's still not definite.
Let me explain what. Let's go back to the root and explain what tax is. I stay in an estate in Abuja, and we pay a yearly service charge collectively. Now, of recent, because of the rain, the road leading to the estate is bad.
Okay.
So we have a group on WhatsApp. It's a very big estate. A lot of people there, what's going on, blah blah. So they set up a committee, which has been existing anyway. empower them, give them money out of the service charge. I'm telling you that this morning, that stretch of road, which is maybe about 500 meters, has been fixed.
Okay, by the estate.
Yes. What I'm trying to say is the whole essence of tax is people coming together and saying, let's contribute this amount for the commonwealth of everybody.
Everyone, yeah.
So if you're saying that the tax is working, then the question is where and for whom? Because some of the basic things that tax is meant to do is, first of all, security. Your tax is meant to do power to an extent. Now, your tax is also meant to guarantee you some level of comfort when you move around, which we're talking about roads. Go from Abuja to Lagos, then come back. Let's have another episode of this program.
Don't worry, I'll come back. By God's grace.
Amen. Because let's even leave security aside for now. The roads are in very terrible position. And what I always use as a standard for myself is Lagos to Abuja. Once Lagos to Abuja is good, then I can say, oh, then we are going somewhere. Why? Because we're looking at the old capital versus the new capital. There has to be a link between it. If the road from Abuja to Lagos is bad, the question is, where does the tax go? People are ready to pay and include themselves in paying tax because they will see that, oh, this is happening. This is actually working. But when they are paying tax grudgingly, or tax is being taken from them, and they practically cannot see what it is being used for, then people are reluctant to pay. It's just a normal thing. If I see that things are going well, I enter this room now, there's air conditioner, everywhere is smooth, is clean. If you ask me for something, I'll
you easily give it.
Because I'm seeing it.
Yes.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I totally get you. Well, now moving back to the issue of borrowing, I know the government's defense would be on development financing, construction, road construction. I'm back to road construction again.
Welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so $3 billion alone is going to the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line. That looks like, a project that is going to benefit a lot of people and even our economy. So is borrowing for capital project legitimate?
Yes, it's good because when you borrow for capital projects, first of all, you must make sure that they are completed. But I would say, in summary, it is good. Now, when you borrow for capital projects, the way China does it, I kind of prefer it a little bit.
Okay.
They come around and do it themselves. That, first of all, guarantees fairness in price or pricing. It also guarantees, to a large extent, completion, because that's the whole idea of the project borrowing. But if one way or the other the funds are just given, you bear with me and you bear with me that we have so many projects in Nigeria that are abandoned. In fact, more than even me and you can even have an idea about. There's so many of them.
I know.
So Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, fantastic project. The fear now is, will this be properly completed? Okay, look at Abuja to Kaduna. I go on that train, from time to time. And I remember there was a time when there was an issue on the rail. I think it was derailed.
It derailed and
after
it fell.
The issue, security issue that happened.
Yes, it derailed. Yes.
And after it derailed, I'm telling you, till now, we have not been able to get back to that level, because before there used to be about 3 rides from Abuja, 3 rides from Kaduna.
Okay.
Now some days it's just 1, and some days it's 2.
Safety concerns.
Is it safety, or they've not really repaired everything they are meant to repair? So at the end of the day, if a project is even completed, we're now talking about maintenance and management of that project to continue to deliver, because interconnectivity is directly related to productivity. If Nigeria is interconnected, then you see that we'll produce more. Go and check countries that are interconnected. Look at China. The amount of rails connecting China. Why would they? Why? You see, okay, I was doing an analysis with someone some days ago. I said, why don't we have major hubs in Nigeria connected by trains to rural areas? What I mean, for example, is why does Abuja not have a train that is coming from Lafia, coming from Mina, coming from Kaduna, coming from Lokoja every day? You have something leaving maybe Lokoja around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. So that people can be living, for example, in cheaper places and working in Abuja, since Abuja is congested. The same thing for Lagos. Why would Lagos not have simple train networks that is coming from Ogun State, that's Abeokuta, Ibadan, even Ekiti or even Akure? All these things, when you consider them on rail, it's no more than 2-3 hours, every day. So the whole idea of connecting and borrowing money for infrastructure eventually will pay off, because what it does is that it increases the productivity of the people.
Yes.
Forget about the amount they're charging for the train. Might not really pay much, but it's something. At least can maintain the service. But the people and the goods that will be moving, eventually you will see the effect. If each administration comes and does 3 train connections, by now would have gone very far.
And if it's a continuum, it means that we'll keep moving forward.
Yes, by now maybe we'll have 20 connections. See, I should be able to wake up and say, oh, I don't want to go to the airport. I'm going to Lagos. I'm going to take a train.
That's right.
And there should be trains going to Lagos, even if it's once a day. And believe you me, 6 hours you are in Lagos and you're fine.
Yeah, with all of these things you've mentioned, it means that we might need to borrow more to construct all of these trains.
Wait.
Okay. Because you mentioned a lot of rail lines. I just wanted to remind you, sir. Okay.
That's why I said administration after administration should do their bit. The issue is that in time past, monies have been borrowed and things have not been done. So the weight of all those debts are now heavy on the little things that have been done right. So what we need to do now is to look critically at the things that can go far and give us a whole lot. For example, as a business person, if I have 1 million naira and I have 3 options of investment, there are 2 things I consider. I look at the risk and I look at the returns. They call it RR ratio. So I'll look at the one that the return is extremely good but also balances the risk. Now, for a country like Nigeria, we should start looking at the low-hanging fruits again. Where can we put money that will give us a lot of revenue first so that we can offset the bad loans of the past and be a little bit freer? President Obasanjo tried during his time to get, forgiveness of loan. He did a whole lot to reduce our loans. But since then, I've not really seen much, in terms of actually increasing revenue versus loans.
All right. What about a situation where the IMF, came up with the idea from its report that we've had non-performing loans on the rise? What do you have to say about that? Going back to the banking system, you just mentioned something, and also, connecting it with the recapitalization exercise. If we have a lot of non-performing loans, what does that do to the economy?
When you have non-performing loans, what it does is that it increases the loan when we consider each person. For example, there was a time when they just prorated it and said each person is owing like 145,000. So I think that amount has gone to maybe over 500,000.
I think they said 754,000
exactly.
per head.
So I'll collect yours before I go, so I can help you remit it. So non-performing loans, what it does is 2 things majorly. The first thing is, if as an individual you are owing, you borrowed money from any microfinance or any bank, it robs you of your income when it comes. If care is not taken, you are now forced to take another loan. So the first thing non-performing loans do is that they keep you in perpetual loan system. In a loan
it's
cycle.
Just overlook.
It's just a loop. The second thing is you cannot be creative enough. If Nigeria has a free income, not like free income, but an income that doesn't have debt attached to it of $20 billion, they can be very creative with it. But if you have 20 billion and you know that you are owing $30 billion, there's a limit to what you can actually be creative with, what you can actually achieve with it. So loans, apart from robbing you of your creativity, they keep you, non-performing loans, keep you in an endless loop that you keep borrowing. At the point in time, we were already at the point of what we call a debt trap, where the total of our revenue was equal to or less than the amount we needed to service our loans. Not to pay the loan,
not to pay
the
to
interest.
Service
yes.
The interest.
That means if the interest was 10 million naira, the total revenue we're getting was 10 million naira or below, which is a very terrible place to be.
Goodness.
But it has been a little bit improved now, but not so great. I'll say it again. What we need to do now is to start focusing on things that can actually yield a lot of revenue rather for the country. Look at mineral resources; they are there.
Agriculture
is there. Human resource. Yes. I keep saying it. One of the things that kind of set us back, whether I want to agree with me or not, is the discovery of crude oil in Nigeria. Now, what it did to Nigeria is that it made Nigeria neglect its human capital. So we can just dig the ground, get our resource, and do whatever I want to do. You see all those people in between, we don't need them.
Cut them off.
And here we are 50 years later, 60 years later, and we are not better for it. Meanwhile, there are countries that also discovered oil and said, no, we are not going to tap this oil now. Let's continue on this path. Let's continue with the cocoa. Let's continue with the granite. Let's continue with the palm kernel. And who knows where we'll be today. Let's continue with the cassava and the yam. But you see, we neglected all those things. We left the human resource, human capital. That's why you have states in Nigeria right now that is not producing anything. And they are being called the state. No, you are not meant to be called the state. You have local government that practically there's nobody there. But they are still being paid. Why? Because their effect and their level of input does not guarantee what we are getting in Nigeria. What I'm trying to say is that whether they work or they don't work, Nigeria, in quotes, does not depend on them. Nigeria has to get to a stage where we depend on our human capital, and we will now see that we can gradually move the country forward.
That's right. It's Cleanbait 91.5 FM Abuja. It's 8:58 right here on the round table with Itoha. Mr. Abiola is still in the building, and we're looking at that. We're looking at the IMF report. Well, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise has said the International Monetary Fund is wrong on calling for further interest hikes in Nigeria. And, he has expressed how, high interest rates do not address any kind of inflation. The next question would be, they also faulted the IMF report for paying insufficient attention to the role of state governments, driving economic reforms and reducing poverty. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree, but there is a limit to which one can, say
Blame
some things about, not even about IMF, because you will expect that such an organization is extremely professional and they have a lot of think tanks within them. And they would see also that some of their recommendations do not really, push for the increase in revenue and maybe going forward of some countries. But like I said, there's a limit to which we can discuss that, because let's take for example, I borrow money from you, I've not paid you, I'm not servicing it, I come to you, borrow me again. Is that for my well-being or for my... Do you actually like me? I borrowed the first money, I went to do party. I come and meet you and say, oh, that money is gone. Oh, please give me another 2 million. Say, okay, no problem. See the interest. So true, I agree with the fact that states are not doing enough because the whole mindset of Nigeria and Nigerians rather is being focused on the FG. And I always say this also, that the states should be held more accountable. In fact, I want to even say that the local governments, because that's a system that was killed, some years back. The local governments are the closest to the people. These are where a lot of projects should be implemented. If you come to a local government and say, we have awarded this street, we are paid so amount to the contractor, you guys help us monitor it, I can bet you that road will be done. Okay. But when a lot of things are done from the top, the bottom does not know what's going on. People are not involved. There is this divorce. There is this ownership issue that an average Nigerian has with Nigeria. An average Nigerian feels that I'm just here. I'm not meant to ask for anything. Whatever they give me, I'll say, hey, thank God.
Thank God.
No,
he got to me.
No, you are in Nigeria. You are part of the system. You should be able to book an appointment with your senator or with your House of Rep and have a meeting and say, sir, what is going on? What have you been doing for the past 2-3 years? And the man can call a stakeholders meeting and say, okay, my constituent, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. But in Nigeria, a Nigerian feel is an opportunity for him to even be able to see his so-called representative, which goes against the whole, idea. Yeah.
That's right.
So yes, I believe, I felt it also that states are meant to do more, and local government are also meant to do so much more, because to a very large extent, what can the federal government do? They can do a lot, but to what extent? They can't do as much as the states combined and as the local governments combined. So local government and states have to now take much more responsibilities, to find it. Because if they do it well from the grassroots and push it well, federal government will just be the icing on the cake. There's something they call community policing, for example. Yes. Community policing is, you see somebody that you're not very sure who this person is, you can ask the person, sorry, what are you looking for? Oh, sorry, are you looking for
because security starts with me.
Yes, with you. If I see somebody in my estate just wandering around my clothes, I can ask you, so sorry, what are you looking for? Who are you asking for? And the person can say, oh, sorry, I'm looking for so and so. That is where community policing starts from. But if I feel that it does not matter, I cannot be bothered, then will the FG send a policeman to every close in Nigeria is practically not possible. Do you understand? I was just walking by the corridor. A man called me and said, "Sorry, what are you looking for?" And I told, "Oh, I'm looking for so." I was like, "Okay, go so place." The man already, you know that. Oh, this man is aware of his environment. Whether he's the first man or not does not matter.
Yes. That's right. Anyway, looking at the issue of loans again, how transparent are these loans? How much the federal government is taking? And also, a lot of Nigerians keep saying that, oh my God, our future has been mortgaged. There's a lot of debt servicing. How transparent are these? For example, I think the International Monetary Fund discouraged Nigeria from proceeding with a proposed $5 billion financing agreement with First Abu Dhabi Bank of the United Arab Emirates. Now, they warn of the transparency risk and that other nations that have taken such structure wasn't transparent enough.
I agree that some of the loans are not transparent enough, and I also will say that Nigerians too don't make their research. You find people making all sorts of comments online that could have been avoided if they've just done a 2-3 minute Google search.
Okay.
So yes, I agree that my own agreement is even more with the reason of the loan. I don't think that a lot of those loans need to be picked up. If you look at our crude oil, sector, you find out that some of the crude oil that we drill out of the ground have already been given out. Like we've taken loan. We've taken loan against them.
Yes, so ahead of it.
So what we're getting out of our crude oil is less than maybe 70% of what is coming out of the ground. So yes, I believe they are not transparent enough. And also, you see where transparency comes in. Yeah? Where transparency comes in, if we say we're practicing democracy, is where the three arms of government are actually opposing. They're actually like oppositions. That means the legislative or legislature can come out and say, this loan that you guys want to take, want to scrutinize it. They can even summon the ministers or the president and say, okay, come and explain to us why you need another 5 billion. The president comes with his ministers and they come and say, okay, this is why, see this, see what is going on. Because they also need to append their approval. But the situation we see in Nigeria now is a situation where we are not really seeing that level of discourse. We're not seeing that level of challenge that, okay, so something have come, Minister of Agriculture come and defend it, Minister of Information, why do you need so amount? We're not seeing that anymore. What we are seeing now is, instead of these arms of government to friction themselves out so that we can get the best,
yes,
we're seeing that it's more like a joint thing. Now you can hardly differentiate who is a legislature, who is an executive. Everybody is like just together. Okay. And that goes against the tenets of democracy. The whole idea of democracy is, even when we're in school, when we're joining all these small associations, it was fun because you come out, you say want to get to know, we say no, Presido, explain to us that student union made 500 million. How was it spent? Yeah. How did you give treasurer 50 million? You know, at the end of the day, you find out that after all those back and forths, you are able to have a better form of expenditure, so something more qualitative. But if it's a situation where everybody is just doing paddy, the question now is, who benefits from it?
The people?
Because the government or democracy or whatever, at the end of the day, is meant for the people.
The people.
So if the people are not always number one, then decisions might wrongly be made.
All right, it's 6 minutes past 9 o'clock, and just as we begin to wrap up, Strait of Hormuz opened. Are you excited?
I heard it was closed 3 days ago. I don't know. Is it a door? What's going on? It has opened and closed more times than my room door.
You know, I mentioned this morning that it feels like my heart has been broken too many times for me to believe anything
anymore.
But looking at it, saying that the deal will be signed on Friday in Switzerland, does that bring some form of hope? So at least global prices can fall and everyone can return to at least near normal.
Near normal. It's going to still take a while, but I agree. Well, I want the deal to be signed. Let everybody go back to pre-Hormuz,
pre-Hormuz period.
Pre-Hormuz period, so that things can gradually return to normal. And the thing about ships or vessels that carry crude oil is that they are like bicycles. They move very slowly.
Very slow.
So you find out that even if the Strait of Hormuz is open today, all the storages in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, start pulling out, it will still take 6-7 months for things to finally normalize.
Okay.
But yes, at least we need to start from somewhere.
We have to.
But what is also generating some level of response is what Donald Trump was also still saying on Truth Social, that if they don't whether sign it, if they don't agree to this, they will have no option than to go to the this thing of using probably a nuclear weapon and all that in court. So when you're trying to negotiate and make an agreement, I don't think extra threats
is needed.
And this has always been the issue, with Iran, saying that you keep treating us as if you are the Lord and Master over everybody. No, you cannot. So I believe that maybe Trump should dial it down and let maybe Vance or somebody else to just take over this whole negotiation thing. Because when you're talking about countries, more or less superpowers, I think social media is the last place that everything should be spilled.
It feels like there's a lot. The last couple of months, it's been banter with countries.
And I think the things at stake are far more important and very serious. But people have also accused him of market manipulation by his post and everything, that he always says a post on Friday, Sunday will create another one because of the market and everything. Whatever reason it is for, I think that the situation is much more serious, because we are talking about people have lost their lives, soldiers have lost their lives.
That's right.
Innocent citizens, children have died. So I don't think it's something to be trifled or joked with. I think you should take it with utmost seriousness. It's not something that, we want to go and bomb somebody, then you quickly go and post on social media. You keep wondering, is this actually the president tweeting these things, or maybe his grandson or something?
You understand. Also, talking about a global shock for the economy, I know that there's been a lot of praise as it concerns our the foreign exchange market, saying it was been very stable the last couple of months. But how else can we bring in global shock where if the countries are fighting, we can actually still stand and hold ground?
Well, we are doing that already. First of all, there's no country that is in isolation. Even North Korea is not in isolation. You cannot be in full isolation. You must depend to some extent on other countries. The level of dependency is what is we're discussing now.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things that helped us, whether we like it or not, is the fact that we have a big refinery within Nigeria. Otherwise, during this state of move season 1 to season 5,
fuel for no day. We know the story.
It would have been something else.
Yes.
And you trust Nigerians, they will milk every opportunity to reap their fellow countrymen. They will import at very, very stupendous rates, and still will be lesser quality, and they'll shove it down your throat. So that, for one, helped us.
Yes.
2 is that we're not producing enough. I even don't think we're producing. When I say producing, we're not producing what we eat, first of all. And when we talk about security types in a country, food security is one of them. Meaning that if, to a large extent, you cannot produce what your citizens will eat, at least to 80-90%, it means that if your food shipments or supply is cut off, you can starve, whether you like it or not. It's actually a war tactics. So one of the things we need to do is to focus on our food security. We must have not only the production, but the value chain. Because you see that Nigeria produces a lot of things, but also a lot of things get spoiled. Meaning that we don't actually process them. We don't have preservation. We don't have storage.
Nothing.
If we have, it's negligible.
It doesn't take the content of what we produce.
Yes, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So if you're saying, there's tomato at some point and there's a tomato glut in Benue State, do we have enough processing plant to turn it to
paste,
to tomato paste, so that whether it's in season or out of season, it's always available? So I feel food security, producing enough of what we eat is very crucial. Number 2 is power. Power has been spoken about before I was born, and we are still speaking about it, and it's depressing, because any country that would go forward, I don't care whatever I want to tell me, the first thing is power. After power, industrialization. And we have not even crossed power. How do you want to industrialize? A lot of industries have left. A lot of manufacturing companies have closed up and left Nigeria. Not because they want to leave, but when they look at the cost of production and they look at what their competitors are doing and bringing in, they can't even compete. You're producing something that they sell 2 naira, and you are using 1 naira 50 kobo to produce it. Meanwhile, somebody is using 50 kobo to produce everything. So at the end of the day, you cannot be competitive. The cheaper alternative is even of more quality, than yours. So power, first of all, industrialization, then we can start talking about other things.
All right. You can send messages via WhatsApp 0903-5915 for Ms. Abiola to answer. Well, this one came through. Says the fund credits, the exchange rate reform, fiscal consolidation, bank recapitalization, and reserve buildup. And it says, Mr. Abiola, good morning. Of these, which has genuinely moved the needle and which is more on paper than in people's pockets?
Please read the options.
Okay, it says the fund credits, exchange rate reform, fiscal consolidation, bank recapitalization, and reserve buildup. Which of these have moved the needle in people's pockets?
Almost zero.
Almost zero.
Yeah, because looking at it from a nationwide view, from a country view, the bank recapitalization is good because it ensures safety of your funds to a very large extent. But it has not moved the needle
in our pockets.
Yeah, in our pockets. Don't know why you're keeping needles there. Anyway. Number two, the phone credit, like any other credit service, if put to good use, might actually have done, but it's very minute because it's not money. It's practically credit. If you talk about access to more credit from commercial banks, then it's a different conversation. So the phone credit also, I think it's even, make some people worse, than where they were before. The one you're talking about, also the fiscal policies, I don't think much has been done. If you're talking about also the exchange rate, to a very large extent, it has helped in our FPI. It's stable. Okay. Because the question I always ask is, what is our goal as a country? Do we want a stable exchange rate, or do we want a low exchange rate? There are two different things. Or do we want a high exchange rate? Now, I think the goal should be stability, first of all. Why? Because when you want to have FDIs and FPIs to come into your country, what they are looking at is not bringing the money, but pulling out the funds. You remember that before this administration came in, we were having this issue of repatriation, that aviation companies, airlines, will say, they could not take back their money because of the subsidy that was being given on the dollars. Yeah. But now that all that is gone, you will see that our stock exchange just boomed all of a sudden, because now a lot of FPIs can come in. People can have portfolios, do their 1 year trading, pull out their funds, because the exchange rate is there and it has been fairly stable. So I can say maybe that has moved the needle a little bit, because now an average Nigerian can invest in the stock exchange market and get 60-70% interest or profit, in a whole year, which was not really like that before. In fact, this year I think it has already crossed 60-70%. So that might be the only one, but it's a secondary effect. It's not a primary effect.
Okay, all right. This question is also here. It says, Mr. Abiola, good morning. Great to hear from you. Is Nigeria's debt a crisis, or is it manageable? Please be frank with me. Concerns are being raised.
The thing is, as far as Nigeria debt is concerned, it is not a crisis yet, because something that is a crisis usually is something that has no solution. If they say somebody is in a crisis, maybe health crisis, you find out that person is in ICU. They are practically just trying to. The person is
trying to survive.
90% gone. Let it just work. Let's see. They'll say it's 50-50. We don't know if but the situation we are in now, you see, extremely redeemable. Extremely. And I'll say again, debt is not the problem. There are countries that have times 10, times 15 of the debt we have. The debt is not the problem. The problem is, what are you acquiring the debt for? I'll go to my office, for example, and say, HR, please, I need 10 million naira. Then they give me, then I use it to do my birthday. Now, nothing wrong there if I have where money is coming from to pay that 10 million.
Exactly.
But if I have no other place, and let's say my salary is 500,000 naira, then there's already a problem. If possible, a crisis. Why? Because I did not use that fund for something that can increase my income or revenue. So what Nigeria just needs to do is to focus on high revenue generating sectors and focus the debt there. And you start seeing results in very short time. I am not a believer of the fact that we cannot make a lot of stride in a very short time. I believe we can. In a very short time, you can start seeing results.
Okay.
I don't believe in that. It will take 10 years. I don't believe.
Okay.
I believe that if the government just, let's shift our focus here, and this is what we all want to do, and declare a state of emergency there, you'll find out that all of a sudden things will start turning around.
All right. This one's coming from Johnny Lokogoma. He says that the federal government is already singing its praise for the last 3 years. Oh, Mr. Abiola, what do you have to say concerning that? Because with the IMF report, it seems like they're saying the same thing. Are things truly working?
Well, you cannot write an exam and mark yourself. That has always been my stand. When the president was, quoted to have said some things, I think some weeks ago, concerning what has been achieved so far, I asked them, I said, who are the audience? The audience are the political party members. If it was me, I'll do the same thing, because I have to tell them that this is what but when we now come to the economic side, not politics, the answer rests with you and me. The amount you buy food 10 years ago, side by side your salary, is it better or is it worse? You don't need anybody to tell you. And that is why you see that Nigerians at the point in time, they used to focus a lot on MBS reports and the inflation rate and everything. But when it was recalculated and all that, they stopped, because they see that there's a divorce in reality between how much they buy things in the market and what the inflation rate is saying. So the truth is that in some areas things are better, and in a lot of areas things are not, better compared to 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
So it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there, but more there than,
Finally, this one's coming from AB. AB says, if you're advising the government, what's the single most important thing it must do to break the borrow to survive cycle? And is there any realistic path to actually reducing the debt, not just slowing its growth?
First thing is the decision, willingness. The government has to be willing. At the end of the day, why I'm saying that is because road construction, for example, everything, and I'm saying this without apology, everything we need for road construction is in this country.
Yes, here.
Everything. So you can have a sort of local committee and what they call direct labor and fix a lot of roads in Nigeria. But one thing you have to understand is there are people that, in quotes, are bigger than the government. Any country you see that is not accelerating forward, that is not moving forward, you find out that its institutions and the government entities are not as big as some people, meaning that things are not done for commonwealth. But when you see countries where everybody has to obey the rule of law, where nobody is bigger than even a traffic warder, then you will see that those countries might seem as if they are slow, but they're actually moving faster than you, because you now, it's a one-man show. Now, it is very, 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 very possible. And I'll say again, first thing we need to do is willingness. The government has to be willing to do what it wants to do. If we focus on power, which can be resolved, but you see, I feel that when you enter government, you just start seeing things and you say, so is this difficult like this? Yeah, you had to. But if they are willing, they have that political capital to be able to say, we must fix this power. Nobody is using, no government person should have generator. If the power goes, it goes for all of us in Nigeria.
Let's all stay in that.
You will see that in 3 months, power will improve to over 22 hours per day. So the first thing I will say is willingness. Let's not go beyond that. The government has to be willing. I say, okay, we want to do, because I don't believe there's anything we cannot do. The government is filled with extremely brilliant people. Extremely. People that can implement, people that can do whatever that needs to be done. So once the government is willing and say, okay, let's do this, then it will be done.
So it's will.
It's the will.
It's the will. That's it. We hold the will.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with a business development executive and financial expert with over 17 years of experience in the financial service industry, and serves as head of African business at Key to Markets, Keto Prop, and is a regular commentator on business, finance, and economic issues across radio and television platforms. Thank you so much, Mr. Abiola Adekunle.
Thank you. It was
for
a pleasure.
joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is Clean Beat 91.5 FM. Abuja is 9:22. Thank you so much for your messages, and thank you for staying with the Round Table. The Round Table comes up every day. That's Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Join us again tomorrow, same time, 8:30. I'll be back with more. Stay with us. It's Clean Beat 91.5 FM. Good morning.
Clean Beat 91.5 FM, Abuja.